Let's get straight to the truth. Most people are broke not because of the economy, not because of their job, not because they just weren't lucky enough. They're broke because of the way they think about money. You see, financial struggle doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. Your beliefs, your habits, your unconscious patterns, they dictate your financial future long before you ever make a single dollar. Think about it. Two people can start with the same paycheck, the same opportunities, but 10 years down the line, one is thriving while the other is drowning in debt. Why? It's not about intelligence. It's not about working harder. It's about the way they think about wealth. Most people have been programmed to see money as a problem. They think it's something that's always running out, something that's difficult to get, something they have to stress over. And as long as you believe that, you'll keep experiencing it. But here's the harsh truth. Money is just a reflection of you. One, it mirrors your beliefs. It magnifies your habits. If you see it as a struggle, it will always be a struggle. If you believe it's scarce, you will always live in lack. And if you're constantly chasing money, it will always stay just out of reach. So the real question is, what do you believe about money? Because that belief is either keeping you broke or making you rich. Now, let's go deeper. Let's talk about the biggest mental trap keeping most people stuck, the scarcity mindset. Most people don't realize it, but they live their entire lives inside a mental prison, a prison built from scarcity thinking. Scarcity thinking is the belief that there's never enough. Not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough time. And because people believe that, they live like it's true. They hesitate to invest in themselves because they can't afford it. They stay in jobs they hate because they're afraid they won't find anything better. They don't take risks because they're convinced they'll fail. And what happens? That belief becomes reality. See, scarcity thinking is a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe opportunities are limited, you stop seeing them. When you think money is hard to get, you push it away. When you fear failure, you never take action. It's like a thermostat in your mind. Set too low, and no matter how much money comes in, you'll always find a way to lose it. That's why people who win the lottery go broke. That's why someone who makes six figures can still live paycheck to paycheck. They never change their financial identity. Wealth doesn't come from luck, it comes from perception. And if your mind is locked in scarcity, no amount of money will ever make you rich. So ask yourself, are you operating from scarcity or abundance? Because that single mindset shift can change everything. Now let's go even deeper. Let's talk about something you may have never considered. Your first reaction to money. Stop for a second and think about this. When you hear the word money, what's the first emotion that hits you? Excitement, anxiety, stress? Because whatever your immediate reaction is, that's what's controlling your financial reality. Most people don't even realize it, but their emotional response to money is a deeply ingrained pattern. It's been shaped by years of conditioning, by what they saw growing up, by what they were told about wealth. If you grew up hearing things like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, we can't afford that, then guess what? You've been trained to see money as something stressful, something scarce, something that's always slipping away. And if that's your belief, then no matter how much money you make, you'll always feel like it's never enough. But here's the truth. Money itself isn't stressful. Your perception of it is. Wealthy people don't see money as something to fear. They see it as a tool, a resource, a way to create freedom. So I'll ask you again, what's your first reaction to money? Because if it's fear, anxiety, or doubt, then that's exactly what's keeping it out of your life. But the good news? That reaction isn't permanent. It can be rewired. And it all starts with shifting your mindset. That brings us to the next critical point. Why strategy alone won't save you, but your mindset will. A lot of people believe that the reason they're struggling financially is because they don't have the right strategy. They think if they could just find the perfect investment, the perfect side hustle, the perfect business idea, then everything would change. But let me tell you something that might shock you. Strategy isn't the problem. The internet is overflowing with financial strategies. You could learn how to invest, start a business, or build wealth right now for free. The knowledge is out there. It's never been easier to access. So why do most people still struggle? Because they don't act on it. They read about strategies, but they never take the leap. They sign up for courses but never follow through. They get excited about an opportunity but talk themselves out of it. Why? Because their mindset isn't built for wealth. See, strategy can show you the way, but mindset determines whether or not you'll actually walk the path. You can give two people the exact same blueprint for success. One will use it to build wealth and the other will find a way to fail. What's the difference? One believes they can, the other believes they can't. One sees opportunity, the other sees obstacles. One takes action, the other makes excuses. It all comes down to how you think, and until you shift your mindset, no strategy in the world will save you. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest misconceptions about money, the belief that wealth is all about income, because it's not. Here's the truth that no one likes to hear. Wealth isn't about how much money you earn, it's about how you think. Most people are stuck chasing after a higher paycheck, thinking that more income will automatically bring them financial freedom. But here's the catch. If your mindset doesn't shift, your income won't matter. Take a moment to think about all the people you know who make a lot of money, but still struggle financially. You might know someone who earns 6 figures, but they're constantly in debt. They might have an expensive car, a big house, and designer clothes, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because they've never changed the way they think about money. Money is just a tool. It's a reflection of how you manage, save, invest, and grow it. If you can't manage the money you make, no amount of income will ever be enough. On the flip side, you could have a low-paid job, but if your mindset is that of abundance, if you manage your money well, if you're strategic and disciplined, you can build wealth no matter how much you earn. Wealth is a mindset. And the best part, this mindset isn't exclusive to the rich. It's available to anyone willing to adopt it. You don't need a huge salary. You don't need an inheritance. You don't need to win the lottery. You need to shift your thinking. Wealthy people think differently about money. They see it as a tool to create opportunities, to invest in themselves, and to build a life of freedom. They don't hoard it, they leverage it to create more wealth. If you want to change your financial future, the first step isn't earning more, it's thinking differently. Now let's talk about the next section, the wealth divide. The gap between the rich and the rest isn't just about money. It's about how they view and handle money. Let's break that down. There's a gap between the rich and the poor that goes far beyond just income levels. It's not about luck. It's not about who had the best opportunities. It's about mindset. The way the wealthy think about money, opportunity, and success. Wealthy people think in terms of abundance. They believe there's always more to be made, more opportunities to take, and more ways to grow. Their mindset revolves around possibility, not limitations. Meanwhile, most people, especially those who struggle financially, operate with a scarcity mindset. They believe there's only so much to go around, that opportunities are limited, that their success depends on circumstances that are beyond their control. Here's the big difference. Wealthy people create opportunities. They look at problems and figure out how to solve them. They don't wait for opportunities to knock. They go out and make their own. They view challenges as chances to grow. On the other hand, broke thinking focuses on the lack of money, lack of time, lack of resources. People with this mindset constantly feel like they're chasing something they can never catch. They're always running out of time, energy, or money. And that's exactly what they experience. So which mindset do you have? Are you waiting for the next big opportunity to find you? Or are you actively creating opportunities for yourself? The truth is, wealth isn't reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It's available to anyone who's willing to change their mindset. It's about adopting the right thought patterns that make you proactive, creative, and resourceful. The gap between the rich and the poor is not a gap in resources. It's a gap in thinking. Next, let's break down the excuses that keep people stuck in this cycle of financial struggle. Let's be honest for a moment. How many times have you told yourself, I'll never make enough money to be wealthy? I don't have the right connections. It's too late for me. These excuses are exactly what's keeping you stuck. They're not facts. They're stories you've been telling yourself for years, and as long as you keep telling them, you'll stay where you are. Here's the truth. Everyone has excuses. Everyone has reasons why they can't get ahead, but the difference between the wealthy and the broke isn't the absence of excuses. It's the response to those excuses. The wealthy don't let their excuses control them. They acknowledge them, yes, but they don't let them stop them. They find a way around them, through them, or over them. They make decisions based on what they can do, not what they can't. For example, take someone who doesn't have a college degree. Most people would use that as an excuse to stay in a low-paying job. But look at Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group. He dropped out of school at age 16 and went on to build one of the most successful businesses in the world. Why? Because he didn't let the excuse of, "I don't have a degree," hold him back. He created opportunities instead of relying on formal qualifications. Or think of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She started with $5,000 and a vision. She didn't have millions of dollars in backing or a network of investors, but she took action, made decisions, and didn't let fear or lack of resources stop her from pursuing her dreams. Excuses are just mental roadblocks. They only exist because you allow them to, and the moment you choose to break free from them, your entire financial reality will change. So, what's your excuse? And more importantly, how will you overcome it? Now let's talk about how your relationship with money plays a huge part in your financial journey. Are you reacting to money, or are you controlling it? Take a moment and reflect on this. When money comes into your life, how do you respond? Do you immediately think of how to spend it, how to fill gaps, or how to cover bills? Or do you think about how to grow it, how to leverage it for future success, or how to invest in opportunities? The difference between wealth and struggle is in how you respond to money, not just how much you have. Most people react to money like it's a firefighter. They're just putting out fires. They make decisions based on their immediate needs. They react when they run out of money, scramble when there's a bill, and take the first opportunity that comes their way. They're always on the defensive. But wealth comes to those who proactively control money. Wealthy people don't wait for money to appear. They set clear intentions for what they'll do with it before it even hits their bank account. They plan, they invest, they strategize, and most importantly, they control their spending and saving rather than letting their circumstances control them. Take Warren Buffett, for example, one of the wealthiest people in the world, yet he still makes the same decisions with his money that he did when he was a young man. He doesn't react to financial pressures. He takes control of his finances, invests wisely, and lets his wealth compound. So how do you respond to money? Are you merely reacting to your financial situation, or are you making proactive decisions that will lead to your financial growth? When you take control of your money, you stop being a victim of your financial circumstances and start becoming the creator of your wealth. Next, let's break down the most crucial thought that determines your financial future. The one belief that shapes everything. There is one thought, one belief that shapes your entire financial destiny. It's the thought that either propels you toward wealth or keeps you chained to financial struggle. And that thought is this: what you believe is possible for you. Everything starts with your perception of what's possible. If you believe wealth is for other people, people who are smarter, luckier, or more connected, you will continue to live in the reality of lack. You'll convince yourself that success is out of reach and that you're destined to struggle. But if you believe that wealth is possible for you, that the resources, the opportunities, and the success are all within your grasp, that's when everything changes. You see, wealth isn't a lottery. It isn't some rare stroke of luck. It's a mindset shift. It's about knowing deep down that your life can be different, that you can break free from the chains of your past circumstances and create a new future. I want you to ask yourself this: do you truly believe that financial freedom is possible for you? If the answer is yes, then that belief will drive every decision, every action, every investment you make. You'll approach opportunities with confidence, knowing that you deserve success. But if the answer is no, then nothing will change. You'll stay stuck in the same cycle of fear, doubt, and missed opportunities. That single thought is the foundation of your financial future. Shift it, and everything else follows. So now let's explore something that might seem harsh, but is absolutely necessary for your growth. Why giving a broke person money won't change their life. It's a hard truth, but one that needs to be said. Giving a broke person money won't change their life. You might be thinking, that's harsh. If I give someone money, surely it'll help them get by. And yes, in the short term, it might provide some relief, but in the long run, it won't change their situation. Why? Because money alone doesn't fix the problem. The real issue isn't the lack of money. It's the mindset that keeps them trapped in the cycle of poverty. People who struggle financially often have unconscious beliefs about money that prevent them from managing it effectively, no matter how much they receive. Take lottery winners, for example. Many of them go broke within a few years of hitting it big. Why? Because they didn't change their mindset. They didn't develop the habits, the knowledge, or the strategies to sustain their wealth. In fact, money often just magnifies your current mindset. If someone doesn't know how to manage money, throwing a large sum at them doesn't solve the deeper issue. It just leads to more impulsive spending, more poor decisions, and ultimately more financial struggle. Here's the key. Wealth is built on mindset. If you don't change your relationship with money, your beliefs, habits, and behaviors, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you'll always revert back to your baseline. True wealth comes from within. It's about changing your thoughts, your approach to money, and how you treat it. It's about developing the financial wisdom to not just make money, but to keep it and grow it. So before you look for external solutions, like a windfall or a handout, ask yourself, what needs to change in your mind to create lasting wealth? Next, let's dive into the one skill that separates the truly successful from everyone else: adaptability. It's the skill that can change everything. If I were to tell you there's one skill that determines whether you succeed or fail, would you be curious to know what it is? Here it is: adaptability. Success isn't about how talented you are. It isn't about your IQ, your degrees, or your experience. It's about how quickly you can adapt to the world around you. In today's world, everything is changing faster than ever. The economy is shifting, industries are evolving, technology is advancing, and if you can't adjust and adapt to these changes, you'll be left behind. Look at the wealthiest people in the world. They didn't get to where they are by sticking to the old ways. They adapted. They shifted. They learned how to leverage new tools, new technologies, new opportunities. Think about Jeff Bezos. He didn't create Amazon to sell books alone. He adapted to the changing retail market, innovated, and then shifted the entire e-commerce industry. He wasn't afraid of change, he embraced it. Adaptability is your secret weapon. It's what will allow you to stay relevant and thrive no matter how the world changes around you. Right now you might be thinking, but change is scary. And I get it, change feels uncomfortable. It requires stepping out of your comfort zone. But that discomfort? That's exactly what leads to growth. You cannot stay the same and expect different results. The key to success is embracing change, not running from it. The more you adapt, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more successful you become. So if you want to succeed, it's time to embrace the one skill that will change everything: adaptability. Now, let's talk about how adaptability is the secret weapon of every wealthy person and why it's so essential for building lasting success. The wealthiest individuals in the world aren't just lucky, they're adaptable. Adaptability is the secret ingredient that separates the wealthy from the rest. These people don't wait for the world to settle down. They don't cry over changes, they embrace change. They understand that the only way to stay ahead is by constantly evolving, shifting their strategies and seizing new opportunities as they arise. Take Elon Musk. When he started SpaceX, he was told it was a waste of time. The odds were stacked against him. But instead of giving up, he adapted, he pivoted. He found solutions where others saw only obstacles. Today, he's not just a tech mogul, he's pushing humanity towards space travel. The same applies to other successful entrepreneurs. They don't just survive change, they thrive in it. They look at it as a chance to innovate and create. Adaptability is what allows people to turn challenges into opportunities. It's what enables them to pivot when things aren't working and try something new until they find what does. It's what gives them the ability to learn from failure, make adjustments, and ultimately win. But here's the thing. Adaptability isn't just something you're born with. It's a skill you can learn. It's a mindset that can be cultivated. And it's one of the most important skills you can develop to ensure long-term success. Think about the times in your life when things didn't go as planned. Did you freeze, complain, or get stuck in your failure? Or did you find a way to adapt, pivot, and keep moving forward? The more you train yourself to embrace change and adjust your mindset, the more unstoppable you become. Now, let's talk about the fear of change that holds so many people back and how you can break through it. Let's face it, change is uncomfortable. We fear it, we resist it. We want to hold on to the familiar, even when we know it's not serving us. But here's the reality. Fear of change is the biggest thing standing between you and your success. The truth is, change is inevitable. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. The world is always evolving, and the people who succeed are the ones who accept that and adapt to it. But so many people are paralyzed by fear, fear of failure, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of not knowing what's next. They stay stuck because they're comfortable in their discomfort. They'd rather stay where they are, even if it's painful, because at least it's familiar. But here's the harsh truth. Comfort zones don't lead to growth. Growth happens when you step into the unknown, when you take risks, when you allow yourself to fail and learn from it. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She was told she wasn't fit for television, yet she adapted, learned from her setbacks, and built one of the most successful media empires in history. Her ability to embrace change and push through fear is what made her who she is today. It's the same for everyone who's achieved greatness. They didn't let the fear of change stop them. They took action despite their fears. They took that first step into the unknown, and they grew because of it. So how do you break that fear of change? It starts with acceptance. You have to accept that change is necessary for your growth, that discomfort is part of the process, and that the fear you feel is just a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Change is the doorway to your next level of success. Don't resist it, embrace it. Now, let's talk about how your response to setbacks determines whether you'll rise or fall. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. They happen to everyone, whether you're starting a business, pursuing a dream, or working toward a financial goal. But here's the key question. How do you respond to those setbacks? Do you throw in the towel, give up, and tell yourself that it wasn't meant to be? Or do you use the setback as fuel, a stepping stone to something greater? The difference in response determines your future. It's not the setback itself that decides your success. It's how you handle it. Look at Thomas Edison, for example. He failed more than 1,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. 1,000 failures. Yet he didn't see them as defeats. He saw them as lessons, steps towards success. Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is what turned him into a household name. What's your mindset when you face setbacks? Do you see them as temporary obstacles, or do you let them define you? People who succeed long-term don't let setbacks stop them. They adapt, they learn, they evolve. Setbacks are not endings, they are new beginnings. The question is, are you willing to get back up after falling? Are you willing to keep going even when things aren't going your way? Because your response to setbacks will define your future success. It's not the setbacks themselves, it's the strength, determination, and adaptability you bring to them that will determine whether you rise or stay down. Now let's move to something that many people get wrong. The need for the perfect plan. Let's talk about why waiting for perfection is a mistake. Waiting for the perfect plan is one of the biggest mistakes you can make on your path to success. Here's the cold, hard truth. There is no perfect plan. Many people waste years trying to map out every step, trying to figure out every detail, thinking that if they don't get everything just right, they'll fail. But the reality is, the world doesn't wait for perfection. The world rewards action, not perfection. And success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect circumstances. It comes from taking imperfect action and adjusting along the way. Think about it. How many times have you put something off because you weren't sure it was the right time? How many opportunities have you missed because you were trying to make everything perfect before you acted? The truth is, you'll never have all the answers, but if you wait for them, you'll never get started. You'll never experience the growth that comes from making mistakes, learning, and adapting. The key to success isn't in waiting for the perfect plan. It's in taking action, even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect. It's in starting with what you have and then adjusting as you go. The greatest entrepreneurs didn't wait for perfect conditions. They adapted to the challenges they faced and kept moving forward, even when the road was unclear. So stop waiting, start now, and adapt as you go. Your success is waiting for you to make that first move. Now that we've talked about how to embrace change, let's dive into something even deeper, how your brain is built for success. Let's explore how you can train your mind for wealth. Your brain is one of the most powerful tools you have in your pursuit of success. But just like any muscle, it has to be trained. The human brain is capable of incredible things. It can adapt, learn, grow, and develop new habits, but only if you actively choose to train it. The more you focus on positive, growth-oriented thoughts, the more your brain will rewire itself to seek opportunities, find solutions, and push you toward success. This process is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Essentially, your brain can change based on the way you think and act. And this is great news because it means that you have the power to reshape your brain, just like you'd train a muscle in the gym. Every time you choose to focus on a solution instead of a problem, every time you decide to take action instead of staying stuck, you're strengthening the neural pathways that lead to success. And just like working out at the gym, the more you do it, the stronger those pathways become and the easier it is to make those positive choices in the future. But if you continually focus on negative thoughts, fear, doubt, scarcity, then your brain will become more adept at seeing problems instead of solutions. It will become wired to remain in survival mode instead of thriving. To truly succeed, you need to train your brain to see abundance, opportunity, and growth. Replace old habits with new, productive ones. Challenge yourself every day to think differently. And in time, you'll notice a shift in your mindset and your financial reality. Now, let's break down the 4 key pillars of adaptability that will help you shape your mind for success. Adaptability isn't just a mindset, it's a skill with distinct, actionable pillars that anyone can develop. These pillars will guide you in becoming adaptable, resilient, and capable of thriving in any situation. Curiosity. Curiosity is the foundation of adaptability. It's the drive to learn, to understand, and to seek solutions. People who are adaptable aren't afraid to ask questions. They're constantly curious about how things work, how they can improve, and how they can do things differently. They embrace the unknown because they know that growth only happens when they venture outside their comfort zone. Flexibility. Flexibility is the ability to change course when necessary. It's the willingness to adapt when something doesn't work out as planned. Adaptable people don't get stuck in rigid ways of thinking. They don't hold on to one solution if it's not working. Instead, they remain open to new ideas, approaches, and strategies. The ability to pivot quickly and confidently is a key to long-term success. Resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from failure or adversity. When you face a setback, resilience helps you keep moving forward, learn from the experience, and continue toward your goal. Resilient people don't let challenges break them. They use them to grow stronger. Every failure is a lesson in disguise, and resilient people understand this deeply. Action-oriented mindset adaptability isn't just about thinking differently, it's about doing things differently. Attitude and mindset means different things for different people. It's about doing things. It's about taking action, experimenting, and seeing what works. People who succeed know that action trumps perfection. They get things done, even if they don't have every answer right away. They trust that by taking action, they will learn, adjust, and improve along the way. These 4 pillars, curiosity, flexibility, resilience, and action, are the building blocks of adaptability. And if you can master them, you will position yourself for success, no matter what challenges come your way. Next, let's talk about the one habit you can adopt today that will build an adaptable mindset. One small but powerful change that can transform your life. If you want to cultivate an adaptable mindset, it starts with one simple habit: daily reflection and adjustment. Every single day, take 5 minutes to reflect on your actions, your choices, and your progress. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done differently? What did I learn from today's experiences? This habit of daily reflection allows you to make small adjustments every day. It helps you identify what's working, what's not, and what you can do to improve moving forward. The best part is that these small adjustments add up over time. Daily reflection helps you stay adaptable because it forces you to constantly reassess and evolve your approach. Instead of waiting for months or years to see results, you can continuously fine-tune your actions in real time. The more you practice this habit, the more your mind will grow accustomed to change. You'll stop seeing obstacles as failures and start seeing them as opportunities to adjust and improve. With this habit, you'll be training your brain to be more flexible, more solution-oriented, and more adaptable, which will give you the confidence to face any challenge and come out on top. Let's now talk about how you can change your life simply by changing how you respond to challenges, because that's what makes all the difference. Every time you face a challenge, you're presented with a choice. How will you respond? Your response to adversity determines whether you'll overcome it or be defeated by it. The people who achieve lasting success aren't the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who respond differently to them. Take the example of Steve Jobs. He was fired from the company he founded, Apple, and instead of giving up, he used that setback as a launching pad. He adapted, learned from the experience, and came back to Apple even stronger, ultimately leading the company to become one of the most successful in the world. Your life can change in an instant the moment you change your response to challenges. When you stop seeing setbacks as reasons to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to grow, everything begins to shift. The key is to respond, not react. Don't let emotions or frustrations dictate your actions. Instead, pause, reflect, and make decisions based on long-term goals and solutions. Every time you respond to adversity with resilience, adaptability, and a growth mindset, you're training your brain for success and setting yourself up for greater achievements. Let's now talk about how you can leverage change to your advantage, because the people who win are the ones who don't just accept change, but use it. Change is coming. It's inevitable. But here's the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. Successful people don't resist change, they use it. The world is changing faster than ever, and those who embrace change are the ones who stay ahead. You have a choice. You can either resist the flow of progress, cling to old methods, and stay stuck in the past, or you can adapt, learn, and use that change to fuel your success. Adaptability isn't just about surviving change, it's about leveraging it to create new opportunities. The most successful people in the world know this. They understand that change isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace, harness, and turn into an advantage. Let me be blunt. If you don't change, nothing else in your life will change. You can sit around and wait for your circumstances to improve, or you can take responsibility and make a change. Change doesn't happen because you hope for it. It happens because you decide to take action. If you want to grow your wealth, improve your life, or reach any goal, you have to start by changing your mindset. If you keep thinking the same way, you'll keep getting the same results. Financial growth starts when you stop blaming your circumstances and start taking responsibility for your future. You don't need permission. You don't need a better situation. You just need to decide to adapt, take action, and keep moving forward. Change is in your hands. If you don't change, you will stay stuck, but if you do, everything else will follow. Let's now talk about the art of turning setbacks into opportunities, because how you respond in tough times is what separates the winners from the losers. Failure is inevitable. You will face setbacks, but it's not the setback that matters, it's what you do with it. The true power lies in your ability to turn every setback into a stepping stone. Every failure can be an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. When you face a challenge, don't see it as a roadblock. See it as an invitation to get creative and adapt. One of the greatest examples of this is Walt Disney. He was rejected over 300 times before he secured funding for Disneyland. He could have let that rejection stop him, but instead, he used it as motivation. He took those setbacks and turned them into a thriving empire. Your ability to adapt and learn from setbacks is what will ultimately lead you to success. So the next time life throws you a curveball, remember, it's not the setback that defines you, it's how you use it to your advantage. Money doesn't like to stay stagnant. Wealth flows to those who keep moving, keep growing, and keep adapting. The key to wealth isn't about making one big win. It's about creating momentum. It's about taking consistent action, learning from mistakes, and always adjusting. As long as you keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps, wealth will flow in your direction. But if you stop, if you let fear or failure hold you back, then you'll find yourself stuck waiting for something that will never come. The people who succeed are the ones who keep moving no matter what. They understand that the journey isn't linear. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns. But as long as you keep moving, you will continue to build momentum toward your goals. Wealth isn't about a single breakthrough. It's about consistent action, learning, and adapting. Keep moving, and wealth will follow. If you still believe that relying on one source of income will get you to wealth, it's time to let go of that limiting belief. The wealthiest people have multiple streams of income. They don't rely on a single paycheck, a single business, or a single investment. They've diversified. And in doing so, they've created multiple ways for money to flow to them. The idea that you can survive on one source of income is an outdated mindset. In today's world, you need to have multiple income streams. This creates more opportunities for wealth to come in, and it allows you to be more adaptable to any changes that happen. Start looking for ways to diversify your income, whether it's through investments, side businesses, or passive income streams. The key to financial security is having more than one source of income. Risk is a necessary part of success. If you're too afraid to take risks, you'll never reach your full potential. But the key is to take calculated risks, risks that have a high potential for reward, but are well thought out. Smart risks are what separate the winners from the losers. It's about making decisions that stretch you, but that also make sense. These are the risks that lead to new opportunities, new ventures, and greater financial growth. If you're playing it safe all the time, you're missing out on opportunities that could transform your life. The people who achieve the greatest success aren't afraid to take risks. They weigh their options, do their homework, and then take the leap. So ask yourself, are you taking the right risks? Now you know the truth. The opportunities are out there. The path to success is clear. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the choice to adapt. Will you take that first step into the unknown, embrace change, and use it to your advantage? Or will you stay stuck in the same patterns, waiting for something outside of yourself to change? The power is in your hands. The future is yours for the taking if you choose to adapt.